The Martin Luther King Day outbreak that marked the Super Bowl city's 4th episode of rioting in this decade.
Cleanup crews moved in quickly at daybreak to pick up and sweep away the debris of a night of violence in Overtown. Late today, the FBI announced that it would open a civil rights investigation into the shooting of a black motorcyclist by a white policeman. Super Bowl week was supposed to be Miami's moment to shine. But for a few hours last night, it was anything but a super city.
You know, timing for a tragedy of this sort is always bad.
The deep-seated anger was evident on the street. Mayor Suarez was pelted with rocks and bottles when he tried to quiet down the crowd. Among the unanswered questions are why police fired at the motorcyclist for an alleged traffic violation and whether he was shot deliberately.
I'm mad. I want to know who did it and why they did it.
The first officers on the scene were attacked. Before they regained the upper hand, several were hit and at least one patrol car was stoned. Other cars were set on fire. A CBS News crew was assaulted and arsonists torched a warehouse next to a junkyard.
The nation, the country needs to know that Miami still has unresolved problems with this black community, and those problems are likely to erupt during Super Bowl week or not.
Local officials saw the Super Bowl as a perfect opportunity to show that Miami has more to offer than drugs, refugees, and riots. Instead, the spotlight has shifted to the city's problems. More Central American refugees arrived in Miami today, and even though the city doesn't know what to do with the latest immigrant wave, some blacks see them as a threat.
A lot of black folk just shook their head and said that here we go again. Marelitos before, and now here come the Nicaraguans.
Local officials downplayed the similarities with the Miami riots of 1980 and 1982, saying the latest violence involved much smaller crowds. Despite official expressions of optimism that the worst was over, there was sporadic violence late today, with police bracing for more disorders tonight. As darkness came, the reports of violence increased. One television crew was assaulted, a bus was stoned, and there were several reports of crowds roaming through the streets looking for trouble. Police said that the entire city and county police force had been called in to deal with the
black community called Overtown. It left 2 black men dead, and once again also left confusion and anger and bitterness. In Miami, ABC's John Quinones.
The streets of Overtown are still smoldering this evening. Police report more rioting, car burnings, and sporadic gunfire. The black community is sealed off from the rest of Miami as heavily armed police comb the area where violence broke out last night. The trouble began after a white police officer killed a young black man driving this motorcycle. A patrol car had been trying to stop 2 men on the cycle for speeding. During the chase, another white police officer walked out of a nearby building and shot the driver in the head. The passenger on the motorcycle was fatally injured in the crash that followed. Bystanders erupted last night and were still angry today.
How come it's always a white cop shooting one of us down?
Community leaders met today to try to calm tensions. Miami Mayor Xavier Suarez toured Overtown.
People are angry, they want explanations, we're doing the best we can.
But Overtown residents say their anger goes far beyond one police shooting.
My message to the city officials to try to get some housing, better housing, and help the people have more jobs.
Community leaders say that's the main reason for the trouble here. The fact that for too long the city's interests and those of the black community have not coincided. This evening, the city is bracing itself for what could be another long and tense night on the streets of Overtown.
The racial disturbance was not what city leaders had in mind, but many here say Miami should have seen it coming.
So many things that led up to this that are so similar to the disturbances that we've had in the past.
Still present in the inner city is the anger that led to 3 other racial disturbances here this decade, including the 1980 riot in which 18 people died. After that riot, the U.S. Attorney General said Miami blacks felt trampled by the police and justice system.
There is a deep and frustrating belief and feeling of a double standard of justice.
Today, that feeling is still very much alive.
The thing about the police department here in Miami, they don't ask questions. They shoot before they ask questions.
In 1980, Miami blacks feared Cuban refugees, welcomed to Miami with open arms, were taking away their jobs. In 1989, there are similar concerns about the current wave of refugees, Nicaraguans. Many Miami blacks born in this city feel left out of the economic prosperity.
It's the same thing like election time. Promise me anything and I'll give you the world. And we ain't got nothing.
Black leaders say the potential for disturbances will always exist here until these
motorists were warned to stay out of the area after the driver of this meat truck was attacked and his merchandise stolen by members of the crowd.
I just want to say thank you for having the guts to come out last night and talk.
Early this morning, Mayor Xavier Suarez went to the Overtown neighborhood where the riot took place. Community leaders met to talk about ways to keep the peace. Police kept a watchful eye on the area. Some, like the owner of this meat market, surveyed their losses.
Everything is gone. All my equipment, most of my equipment are gone. My merchandise is gone. They empty me out. And what's left behind, they destroy.
The rioting began in Overtown last night after the shooting death of a young black man. 23-year-old Clement Lloyd was shot in the head by a Miami police officer after a traffic violation involving a motorcycle. Overtown soon turned into a battle zone between police and roving gangs of teenagers. It was the fourth serious outbreak of racial violence in the city since 1980. Many feel the recent scandals involving the Miami Police Department, along with a heavy influx of Nicaraguan refugees to the area, created pressures within the community resulting in this outbreak of violence.
Frustration. That's what it means. It means frustration. Pure, simple, plain frustration. Many of the immigrants that come in from Nicaragua are middle-class folk, and they're going to bring skills, and they're going to be able to survive and do well here and thrive.
As the evening's violence escalates, Miami's hopes for an easy resolution of its newest problem grows fainter. All of this as thousands of visitors converge on the city for Super Bowl Sunday. Noah Nelson, NBC News, Miami.
Another flashpoint for racial tensions tonight, Long Beach, California. Today, its city council asked county prosecutors